Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. Welcome to day 26 of the 31 Days of Tarot. So this is my stack of tarot journals that I'm currently working with. There's like one in here that I'm not, so I can explain. Oh dear, it's all going to hell. All right. It's just ridiculous. Okay, let me straighten things up here a little bit. All right. So, journal time. All right. This is my some of you will recognize this one is my planner. So, I've got my weekly planner in here and my monthly. Oh, I now have these cool little folder thingies that I did not have last time we played or had a look, where I can kind of keep bits and pieces of paper and things that are things I'll need. Or I like this quote: when things start going really fast, you have the power to slow down and come back to your heart. That's a helpful one. This is turning into a kind of tarot journal. I've got my Merkaba spread here with just the what each position means, so that I can see it without the interpretation and see if I have new insights. What else did I put in here? Just little bits and pieces. Self-care in the midst of difficulty is self-compassion. A kindly response to your own suffering. Kind of just meditation reminders. And then these like stick out, so they kind of continue to remind me, and I can move them around as bookmarks. Heart Sutra, quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. And I feel like he's kind of like a root teacher. Anyway, this isn't tarot. This is just Nat's stuff. I don't think there's anything else of great interest in there. This one contains too many personal things. I also carry my runes journal back here. So all my fun runic adventures, which are only just starting to be kind of noted down, are being documented in this book, which I'll find some good use for that last page. Although at the moment its use as just a, hey, just be aware, flash it when I'm out in public has actually been very helpful. And then this is some more information about runes that, I keep moving my computer. I'm sorry, guys. It's going to happen a lot. This one is probably the one that'll be the most interesting to folks just visually. But, obviously this is one that I bound and created a long time ago in the way that I do, and did the binding and stuff on it. And it is not by any means full. I decided to turn it into a tarot journal last year, and then as you can see, I kind of, it became a little bit overwhelming. Here's a lot of where I started a lot of my Mariel Tarot stuff. Yeah, it just became really big and overwhelming, and I couldn't carry it with me when I would go and, do work, other places, and it was just a little too much and too suspicious, and I was playing higgledy-piggledy with it. I still will. It's just I've needed to put it to one side for a little while. So that's why it is. So there's that one. Sorry, it's not like major journal porn. I don't want this to be super long. If you are really super into wanting more journal porn, let me know. I can create more for you. But for the moment, we're just looking at journals. This year, I needed simple. And straightforward to be working with my Merkaba and what's the other one I came up with? Tetragrammaton spreads. So this is my sort of new journal for the year, and it's one that I bought that was already bound. I had a coupon for Barnes & Noble, so I decided to go ahead and get it and use it. I don't want to go into too much in here because it's kind of personal, but I have been finding ways of, using these cool, I'll have to do another, well, I can talk about it now. We're talking about journals. I got a Canon Ivy for Christmas for myself so that I could pull out cards and take photos of spreads. Let's see, I've got some plain ones in here that I have not glued down yet that were of spreads that I did using other cards. My process with this printer is still evolving. I figured out how not to have that happen again. But, you know, there's an evolving process that goes along with everything. Again, if you're interested in learning more about this little guy, let me pull it out. I should have pulled it out to begin with. Let me know in the comments. I can do a video about it. But yeah, here's the case I got for it. Because, you know, kind of Sanskrit blue. And yeah, it's a little thingy. And it's just a little guy like this. It's very portable, and you connect it to your phone through the Bluetooth and an app. And then it just kicks out little printer, you know, photo stickers, basically. And I usually keep my extra printer packets in here. I just haven't replenished the supply that's been kind of coming around with me. But it's, yeah, I mean, I'm getting used to it. It's working. It's not cheap, but I figure neither is regular printer paper and ink. I guess the printer paper is pretty cheap. It's the ink that's really such a turd. That's where they get you. And yeah, so not so much. But yeah, that's kind of changing my practice. I know I just printed a bunch of stuff the other day. What did I do with it? Of course, unless it's not. Okay, and then I have this one, which is kind of another back burner journal. It's one where I was kind of sometimes keeping daily draws, sometimes doing like specific ones and prompts for, you know, YouTube and stuff like that. And it'll inevitably come back into use again at some point. It's like one of those journals that had been sitting on a shelf for years because I was like, oh, it's so pretty, I don't want to use it. And then I realized, well, yeah, now I make them. Heck, I just might as well use it. There's no reason not to. So that's this one. I should start putting the ones that live up here on my desk. See, I've got this. Oh no, it's all, oh, here we go. Yeah, they sort of live up here in this space. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Okay. So there's that. Oh, I found them! They fell out and they were sitting on the desk the whole time. Thank God. This stuff's expensive, y'all. Okay, so here's some of the runes that I've been finding, and I just wanted to get photos that I could take and put in my journal, you know, as a record and write about them and reflect on them a little bit more than what I've done on Instagram, so that I can really, yeah, take them in. I didn't get all of them printed, but yeah, just kind of cool. So, and then this is when you put in a new packet of printer paper, it kicks out this little guy. And so I think what I'll be, you know, it's so pretty. I'll use the other side and like glue it or stick it in something. Oh, what a relief. Oh my gosh. I was really like, oh no, I printed all those runes. I don't know what happened. All right. They probably just fell out of one of the books when I didn't realize it. This is a daily draw journal. Very messy. And I separated them into months. Only went up to December from last year. And I will probably, actually I have been, I just haven't put a January tag in there. But I'll be using, so these are my Medieval Sigils Tarot ones. But I'll probably be, I use like 1 page per day when I'm using this. What I'm thinking I'll do this year is that they'll go in, I need to keep remembering to do this. But mostly this is for learning Lenormand right now. At this stage, it's mostly Lenormand. I need to put my January tag in there, but it's mostly Lenormand at this stage because I'm doing really highly specific work with my tarot and oracle. So there's that one. This one I don't really want to open very much. Obviously very messy, and I use specific color Post-its in here. This is for when I'm doing video app readings on the lines, and the person, the client asks a series of questions, or they don't really know how to frame their question, and I really need to listen carefully while, listening to their video about what it is that they want, and then I can discern that and be really highly specific as I go back to do their video. I know it's anal retentive, but I also kind of enjoy having some kind of record because it helps me kind of remember certain decks. It helps me remember specific details. Sometimes I have I had one client that came back to me virtually every day for about a week and a half for at least one reading a day. So, having some details, I mean, by that point I could remember her, obviously, but, just having those details to continue to look back and kind of give her, hey, I told you this yesterday or that the day before, etc. Anyway, so that's kind of an on the lines client book. Then I've got this other leather, like traveler's notebook that has various other notes and things in it, or notebooks. I haven't used any of them yet, but essentially these are dedicated for use as tarot notebooks. One that I did started last night, and I don't mind showing this because there's nothing personal in it. I've been watching Hellier. I don't know how many of you guys have actually been out and watched it yet. It's fascinating. And I did this is just sort of a summary of some of the things that struck me when I was rewatching the first episode. I have actually already watched the entire series, both seasons, some episodes more than once. But I wanted to go back and just kind of get some of the main points, because in the event that there's any other, nerds out there who are interested, I'm going to be doing a series like working with tarot of the She. Because I got actually that's where one of those notes or one of those photos was, a photo of a reading I did about tarot of the She. So I should actually move it back to this journal. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. So this was actually taken from a reading I did watching one of the episodes in the second season, I can't even remember the exact question. I know I wrote it down somewhere on a scrap of paper, but I'm going to transfer all of that work into this notebook because I'm fascinated. Whatever it is that they're interacting with. I mean, anyway, there's a lot I could talk about. This book is dedicated now to Tarot of the She and Hellier. Little green men, anyway, you get it. So UFOs, anyway. So yeah, I'm going to keep working on that and kind of see where it goes. I haven't done any new readings since taking all the information from that first episode. I'm just going to kind of go through and decide whether I want to go episode by episode, or if I want to go, one chunk at a time. I don't know yet, but that's what we got. That's coming up in the near future. Fun times. Just as one of those little, oddball, hey, I kind of thought about doing this thing. I wonder if anybody else wants to nerd on it with me. I'll find out. So it won't be the only content I'm producing, obviously. I've kind of jumped into the new year and just gone crazy. Okay, and then here is this one. This is a disc-bound notebook system, or note-taking system. I've become a big fan of this in the last year. Really big fan. It's so, this doesn't look suspicious at all. If I walk into a public high school or elementary school to teach for the day and end up sitting on my backside doing nothing, this is perfect. So here's a page that's safe to turn to. So here I've got all of my keywords for the Marielle Tarot. And then I've got, it allowed me space to put all my notes for the Marielle 2020 stuff. And then, of course, all the stuff that I ended up writing that came from that. And then I've got various, you know, all of my Marielle notes and like a, you know, there's like a page for all of the cards, or most of them anyway, back here. And then most recently, this gave me a good space and opportunity for where I could do all of my spreads for Kwanzaa. And I don't want to really go into too much of that because I've got a video coming up that's about that. But yeah, and then I've got extra paper. I kind of enjoyed the idea of extra paper back here, you know, that was just different colors that I could stick in. So there's extra paper back there for writing and putting things in. Yeah, it's a great place to put handouts and stuff. I also have a disc bound. I have to be so careful with this one though, because I've got client stuff in here. But this one is the one I carry with me every day, and I can show you some of it. It comes with, it's Tulle, T-U-L with little umlaut, Tulle. And it's got extra calendar pages. I'm being so careful because I got a candle burning over here, which was not smart, but hey, there we go. I've also got my stickers and like journaling bits and pieces that are in here for sometimes when I'm just kind of need to do that. Because I also keep, let's see, where can I turn to that's safe? Here we go. I've got Nina from Shuffle Tarot's handout on the runes back here. And you know, I didn't realize I had more Marielle notes, but anyway, I have more Marielle notes back here. Yeah, various bits and pieces. I've also got all my client info in here and some personal financial info, so I've got to be careful. But this is the one that I travel with every day. So if I want to transfer something, you know, from my home tarot notebook to my carry with me everywhere, you know, disc bound notebook, transferring things from one to the other is so easy to do. So yeah. So those are my tarot journals, probably really excessive. I guess I could call this a tarot journal too. These are all of my different spreads. And I keep them like this on cards. I'm going to use this one for a live event I'm doing in February. But yeah, they come from different sources, but this way I can keep them with me and they're like really accessible. I do have a book, like a book with a cover and stuff that I've designed for them, but I find, I don't know where it is at the moment. It may be upstairs where I was working on it last, but I'm kind of just happy carrying them like this right now. I think at some point I will need that little book because my collection of spreads that I want to keep around is growing. But, and I've got my Crohn's Bones cheat sheet there. But, for the moment, this works. You know, I'm definitely into keeping records and writing things down and, you know, playing with different decks. And I'm just not great at organizing that information, although over time it is getting easier for me to do. It's a matter of like the need I have for creativity, obviously, and the need that I have for things to be really organized and accessible. So I'm figuring out how that can all work and overlap, and it's fine. All right, folks, thank you. This was a lot longer than I intended, but there we go. Okay, I'll talk to everyone again soon. Bye.